Hey, OTU. Uh, some of y'all expressed interest in the spreadsheet I built to track my options, so I am just too lazy to write down instructions for how to use it, so I thought I'd make a quick video. So, uh, yeah, let's take a look at it and uh, kind of go over the basics. So if you open up the file that I shared, this is what you should see, and this is an updated file. Just right off the bat, um, right here there's a show hide toggle to open up some stats. Let's open it up. Uh, you can see this whole area is highlighted. I like to click out of that highlighted selection area. So that's what this graphic is. It's just a landing place for my mouse. You can see now it's deselected everything. If I open it and close it, it's selected again. Boom, unclear. So this graphic, it's just to land my mouse. So this is all going to make sense the more you start using the tracker. This breaks out your P&L by month. It tracks the types of trades you make, whether it's a call, put, leap, or a spread. It'll let you know if a position is open or closed, and it'll total up everything along here. It'll also give you your win-losses. It'll break out realized and unrealized profit based on whether a contract has closed or if it's still open. And then it'll add everything up over here in terms of realized profit and your capital gains. Capital gains is broken out over here by the month. This is just kind of intermediate tracking total P&L and cap gains so that you could get an idea of potential money that could come in for you. So that's what this section is down here, or rather up here. And you don't do any data entry in this area. This is all formulas that will fill in as soon as you put in your first trade. Down here, you have a table, and this is where you will enter your trades. This pane right here is frozen, so if you scroll, it won't move, but the information below it will scroll so that you can just keep this visible and it just doesn't go away. So let's just put in a quick trade. Actually, before we do that, let me just go over these shaded columns versus these unshaded columns. So anything shaded has a formula and it will self-calculate, so you shouldn't ever enter information in these shaded areas. As I said, they have a formula, so they'll just take care of themselves. Anything that's blank is either a drop down. If you see this little disc with an arrow, that's a drop down option. And then, yeah, let's just go through a trade and you'll see how this works out. So type of trade, there's 4 types, call, put, leap, or spread. Let's do a put. And here for account, right now, I have some just generic names in here. I'll show you how to change those in a bit, but let's just say I was doing this on the Roth. Where you enter dates, this is a buy date, expire date, and the day you actually closed it. Any of these calendar dates, you double click in the cell and it'll pop a calendar up for you. So you don't have to do manual entry. You could just open up the calendar and say, like, let's say I opened this up today and that fills in. Stock is a manual entry. So let's say we opened up SoFi, a strike price of $27. Let's say we did a quantity of 2, and let's say it expires out in January, and you can see again I just double clicked and a calendar pops up. So that kind of makes filling in the dates really easy. This is number of days in the contract. So once I fill this in, I take this number and I will copy it here. And this is a formula that does a countdown. So as the date changes and we get closer to the expiration, this number will drop. So I'll show you that in a moment, but just know that once you put in an expiration date, copy this one here so you have a record of how many days number of days in the contract. This is like the number of days in the term of the contract. Status is a drop down, so you have a choice of open, closed, rolled, assigned, or expired. We're going to open this position, and let's say we got $100 per contract. There's 2 contracts, so this is manual entry. Let's say I got 200, and likely it's going to be some odd number like 197.64 because of the cost or the fee, the service fee for the contract, but let's just keep it even at 200. Now by putting that in, it calculated out that our P&L for this is 200, and because it's a put, it will calculate a put margin. So this is how much you need reserved to cover this contract. And then once it has this, it will calculate out the ROI. So, and now that I've entered this in, you can see that we have one put, and it is calculating it so far as a win because it's positive. It's unrealized gains because it's an open contract. But once this closes, let's see if we close this. It'll go to realized. See that? So you'll notice it hasn't filled in this January, and it's because this is in the year 2026. So this will only recognize buy dates that start on January 1st of 2026 through December 31st. So let's change our buy date on this to January 1st. And so there it is. It shows up, one trade, 200, and it gives us our basic information there. You'll start to, yeah, so that's just kind of the basics of how this will function for you. So this is what you should see when you open up. You should see the shaded columns when you do a download. If you grabbed a version where these columns are not shaded, you grabbed an earlier version, and I would recommend getting rid of that copy and starting with this version that has the shaded columns. All right, let me show you a little bit on my tracker so you can get an idea. So this tracked my year for 2025. It's got my breakout per month. I did 102 trades, my wins, my losses. I could see here I have one leap that's still open for the year. So I'll have to come back and just track that. My total P&L was 32. I had 22 grand that was realized. When I combine that with my cap gains, it gets calculated out here. And for the year, a total of just over 37,000. Yeah, pretty cool. So let me just close this so we could take a look at my trades, and you'll see that for a call, let's look at this NVIDIA call. I did an NVIDIA call. This particular one got rolled. It is closed now, but it was a 38-day contract. I was able to, days to close, it told me I closed this 35 days from the time I opened it. I sold it I sold to close, so I put in my negative sell to close cost, and it subtracted that from my premium and gave me my new total, and then calculates my new ROI from that. Let's take a look at a leap. So a leap that I put in for HIMSS, it was a 431-day contract, and I have 380 days left. The status is open, so I don't have a close date yet. When I bought to open, there was a debit charge of just over $1,900, so I put this here in the premium debit column, and then it gives me a negative P&L. So when hopefully this HIMSS climbs above where I need it to for this to turn positive, and when I sell to close, I'll have a positive number here that hopefully flips this. But this is just to show you, if you put in a leap, you need to put a negative number here because you're buying a contract as opposed to just getting a premium for selling a contract. Hopefully that makes sense. And then let's take a look at another. Here I have open positions, closed positions. These leaps, you could see that I actually was able to close it in 1 day. This was how much it cost me to buy the leap. I closed it for a profit, and that shows up in my P&L, and it over here I enter my cost basis, which was this 966 plus. I enter that over here, and then that gives me my ROI. So hopefully this gives you an idea of how you enter an options contract in here. And now let's just go into a little bit of what you'll need to know is when I moved over to start my 2026, I'll start using this as soon as on January 1st, or the market's closed, but January 2nd, if I make a trade, I'll start that in this tracker. So the only thing I had to do was change this date to 26 so that this calendar is tracking based on dates that are of the year 2026. All right, so lastly, let's take a look down here. These are all the number of lines that you could put a trade, but it does end. If you're putting in trades and you see this line, that means you're going to run out of space to add more trades. Let's take a look at it actually in here. So here are all my trades. I'm adding trades. Oh, hey, I'm out of space. Before I just bottom out, while I still have some of these lines that are within my table, this is where my table ends. I want to highlight and then right click and say insert rows. Doesn't matter if it's above or below. And now I have more rows so that I don't run out of rows. As you know, if I just have more trades and more trades, I don't want to bottom out here. I want to make sure that I can add more rows. So while you have a healthy amount of empty rows still before you hit this, just make sure you come in here, highlight a batch, and insert more to give yourself some more runway to keep entering trades, so that you could have everything that you're doing for the year of 2025 all on one spreadsheet. So now that you know about that, I'll open up this spreadsheet. As we go into 26, I'll enter my trades here. I know that I'll still have some open trades that don't close out until January. So I'll come back to my 25 and just kind of uh, do upkeep on this until everything is closed out. And then I'll know that this year has closed out, and then I'll have all the information for how I did for this year, how many trades, and just kind of just this information that's going to help inform how I'm doing, and yeah, just make sure I'm on track. So if you want to stick around for a little bit, I will show you for these accounts. You are going to want to, let's see, so let's say we were entering, when you open up, let me show you on the OTU tracker. So this will be the kind that you download. When you go to first set this up, go to accounts, and at this drop down, it's not giving me enough space, so let's just close this so you could see better. If you click on the account and you see these here, it's just generic name, and 6 different accounts. If you hit this edit button, you could come over here and customize the name to whatever you want the account name to be. You could give each one whatever color you want. You can customize the color to be whatever you want. You could change the text to be, right now you can't see the text, but let's change it to be white, like that. And then if you hit done, you'll be able to come over here and customize your account names to whatever you want. So I recommend doing this before you start entering trades, is customize the accounts that you want, and then you should be in pretty good shape for moving forward. All right, that is a rundown. Again, frozen panels, so you can scroll. At the top, it does kind of pull in your total P&L by totaling this. This is your average days to close. I just thought that was a cool metric to keep track of. And capital gains, just kind of the total and the average ROI just in general. And if we take a look at how that works for mine, we'll close it out here so that we could see it a little better. So my days to close, on average, I close 14 to 15 days on average. My running total P&L is 32 plus, and you'll see it adds in these negative trades. These were controlled losses, $33, $23, $28. I wanted to get some capital very quickly to get back up to VIX cash allocation levels. So by closing these 3, I was able to free up, yeah, 1,200, then another 6 grand, and another 3 grand on top of that. And I felt better doing this controlled losses and having my cash levels up so that I could take care of opportunities if they show up. I'm hoping this flips, because that would make my P&L level go up by another 2,000, and I'll just keep an eye on that. But that's a rundown of this tracker. I hope some of you might yeah, enjoy using it. Hopefully it serves you well. I like that it keeps everything on one sheet for me, and as I go into subsequent years, I'll just keep adding. So next year, I'll just do a duplicate. I will name this 2027. I'll change this to 2027, and I will be all ready to go into a whole new year and keep all this information in one document so that I could go back and reference how I did in previous years and kind of keep a running total. All right, enjoy.